Hi everyone, I'm David. Welcome again for the BeGenesis podcast. What I wanted to talk to you about today, which is very important, it's what we're trying to achieve here. So I will start with a story that I heard something like 2 years ago. I'm sure everybody knows that 2 years ago we had waves and waves and waves of immigrants coming from Africa to Europe and from war zones all over the world to Europe and United States and Canada. And I was really interested in finding out what is the core causes of these waves of people that taking really huge risk when you think about it. And I found out that there's two type of immigrants. One that comes to a different country, like me, because they're trying to find a better financial outcome, more opportunities, quieter life, more democracy, more rights, but if we want to put it into just one sentence, it's called for me it's called financial immigration, which means you're trying to get your life much better. And the other one is running away from war zones. So you don't have much choice. If you don't run away, you're gonna be in big danger. And I wanted to know what's the ratio between them. Like how many people really go to another country because they want to better their lives, to find new opportunities. And I found out that most of the people that taking that risk, it's basically people that want to improve their lives. And from talking to a lot of people, and from speaking that I'm an immigrant myself to Canada, I can tell you that it's not so easy to live in a different country. It means you speak a different language most of the time. You lose your culture, or you find it in really small places in where you're gonna live, and you lose your language, the language that you've been lived all your life with, and there's a lot of things that you lose to gain a better life. Now I'm not going to talk today about what is better, but a story that I heard 2 years ago was talking about I had a friend from Africa, which is from previous traveling. I've been traveling all over the world, and he told me that his sister took the journey all across Africa, all the way to Libya, and then she wanted to go to Italy. She was offered a job or something like that, and we found out that she went missing in Libya. Along the way, she could send messages like where she is and all that, and she got lost. And from him calling me, like if I can check also, I kind of checked, and I found out that they have many people being kidnapped over there, and it's so dangerous, and there is some kind of a few slaves markets. Really awful experience, and thank God they found her. We talked to some people and to try to get some help, thanks to the State Department of the United States, and they kind of help out, and more countries helped out, They found her and they got her home. And I talked to her, and I talked to him, to my friend, and I talked to the mother and the dad, and just to figure out what's the cause of all that. So I found out that she worked, got a lump sum of money to take the journey, and the journey all the way to Libya cost around $2,000. In a country that have average salary of $200 a month. So from talking to them and to try to understand that, I wanted to help. So before we start all this project that we started it like a year and some ago, this idea, I want to tell you something about something I learned about charity. In the Judeo-Christian tradition, there's three types of charity. There's one charity is that you come to a person, you give him food or money, and he say thank you and he's very grateful, and that's the first level of charity. The next charity is to give to somebody food or help or money without him knowing that it's you. And the third one, which is the highest level of charity in the Judeo-Christian charity, and I'm sure it's I just don't know the facts. I'm sure you find it in Islam, you find it in Buddhism, you find it in Sikhs, in any other religions. So the third one is to help somebody to have a business or a trade so he can sustain himself or herself. So following that, I was talking to many people if they were willing to come and pitch in with information, basically. Which means, for example, I spoke to somebody that was a professor for agriculture that was teaching thousands of students in agriculture, and I asked him, would you like to donate your information? So he's retired. He is now enjoying his life at home, and he told me yeah, and he have tons of information and experience how to grow things, how to take care of your fields and your trees and your vegetables, how to make it the best quality, how to make them to be really something that a lot of people would want. And so we moved on from that, and we started to gather more people like that in different subjects, and we came up with this plan that talks about, let's make an app and a podcast, and in the app we'll have all the information that you need to have a sustainable small business. We're not talking about industrial level of hundreds of workers and all that. For that, those people could buy the information somewhere else. I'm talking about regular people that cannot afford the time or the money to go to a university or colleges and go to a big length of education and time. They just don't have it. And maybe we could prevent a lot of people from going to another country unless they know where they're going and they don't have this awful journey to get there. So that's what we did. So we developed an app, free, that anybody could use, and we put in there, we started with few subjects. We launched it a month ago, around a month ago. It's still in process, it's still growing, we're still putting more files and more subjects. We in contact with few organizations around the world. We are in contact with a few companies around the world, excuse me, to basically, the idea is that we'll teach you a trade. We'll take, for example, in agriculture, for example, we take this trade and we teach you how to make, how to build a greenhouse, what to grow in a greenhouse, how much to expect to have, and with that we add the business aspect, which is how to open a business, how to get a license for business, how to run your books, how to sustain a good income, how to manage the money that you get in as an income from selling your products, so you can continue to grow. And by doing that, if we thinking about it, if one greenhouse is built in a village somewhere, we calculated more or less around 10 people working with this greenhouse. And by doing that, we'll have stronger communities and stronger countries in a way. And the people will not need to take a really tough journey around the world with, so dangerous. It's unbelievable that people actually doing that. I could understand them because they have people have this need to have a better life, and nobody can take it away. Like no wars, no governments, no nothing can take it away from them. I think it's very unique, God-given ability to always wish for something much better and actually doing those steps. It's something that built in with us. So like I told you, the idea is to, if we're talking about other subjects, we can talk about, let's say we teach in marketing. So I can tell you from research that we did and talking to big companies around the world, Africa is a magnet right now for big companies and big corporations and big countries. They want to come into Africa. They want to come into Africa. The thing is that there is like 60% of the youth, they want to come in, they have the talent because now internet is all over the world and they see things, and they have this talent of selling products. But we want to take it another step. We want to actually give them the right education of marketing and business, and how to run a business, and how to open a business, and how to be reliable, and then when they finish all that, we giving them the right diploma and the right vetting, and we connect them with companies that looking for representatives in countries in Africa, in South America, in Southeast Asia. And people that usually, what blocks them from doing the next step is a diploma, is this educational process that the Western world kind of imposed on the vast majority of the civilization. I'm not here to say that universities are not good. They're great. Most of the things that we use today came out of research and development that happens in those places. But I think that people need to know also the simple important trades, how to be successful. So if you have a diploma in business, the next step is what I'm gonna deal with, what I'm gonna sell, to find my own niche in the product that I want to sell. And I think that's important, that we'll have practical classes and information that will go back and forth between students, us, and companies, that will use those students